village. He was kept back for some pretense. He saw the residents of Vrindavan in such distress since he understood the extraordinary power of his younger brother. So he's all-knowing. Why did Balaram smile? Because he was omniscient. And particularly, he had appeared in the dynasty of Madhu and thus knew the powers of his younger brother. Or, he knew the intentions of his brother to punish Kaliya. He smiled in order to lighten their lamentation and to assure everyone that he knew Krishna's intentions. Or, his laughter and silence is an indication of Shukadeva Goswami's anger in love. Anger and love towards Balaram. He was supremely independent, but doing nothing. Shukadev. He was a drinker of honey, liquor, Madhava, and strong, but not intelligent. Otherwise, why would he leave Krishna alone? Sanatana Goswami. So it's the top. Why did Krishna smile? Why did Balaram smile? Why did Krishna and Balaram allow their loving devotees to suffer such great anguish when they saw Krishna in the coils of Kaliya? Another commentary series. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were completely liberated souls, and they did not experience material emotions. Clever, huh? When they saw their beloved Krishna in apparent danger, their love for him intensified to the highest degree, and thus they merged completely into ecstasy of love for him. This is their BBT commentary. The whole situation must be seen from the spiritual point of view, or it will not be seen at all. So our conditioning is to not see from the transcendental perspective. Even we can check the box and say, I'm not the body and I'm spirit soul, and get an A in our Bhakti Shastri exam. But to hear the pastime, of course, if one can hear it as it's just a story, but one could hear it more than just a story. It's Krishna's churning the hearts of the residents of Vrindavan, and Krishna's churning our hearts to provide us this Srimad Bhagavatam so we can hear. And it's not just a story. There's feeling connected to the whole pastime. So here's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, always has something interesting to say. Krishna is not interested in playing with me, Sheshanag. Rather, he gets enjoyment from playing with a common material snake. So that was verse number 16. Here's 17. The residents hurried toward the banks of the Jamuna in search of their dearmost Krishna, following the path marked by his footprints. So remember, so this is back in the village, and they saw the omens, and they assumed the worst. Oh no, Krishna's in danger, or maybe Krishna's been killed. And so their emotions went to the bottom, and they started running towards the place where they followed the footprints. Then there's this nice discussion about the footprints, the next verse. The footprints of Lord Krishna, the master of the entire cowherd community, were marked with lotus flower, barley corn, elephant gold, thunderbolt, and flag. My dear Parikshit, seeing his footprints on the path, among the cows' hoofprints, the residents of Vrindavan rushed along in great haste. No, the Krishna's footprints in the sand of Vrindavan is a big thing, so it gets a fair amount of attention. As you know, the touching of Krishna's lotus feet, or meditation upon the lotus feet of the deity, or Krishna's lotus feet, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the holy name, like that. So here's some messages about the footprints. They saw his footprints everywhere, tatra, tatra, where he stepped. And one might ask, why were footprints not erased, since he, surrounded by friends, had tread there long before? Why had the animals and birds not erased the prints? Answer, he was the master of all living beings. The earth thus preserved those prints as her ornaments. And then here's the gopis, his girlfriends. The inhabitants of Braja accepted those prints as the greatest treasure. No one would step on those prints. Notice the painting, the gopis are seeing Krishna's footprints along the shore of the river Jamuna. They saw that they reached the Kaliya lake. They saw. So this is the second group, besides those that were already in that vicinity. They saw Krishna in Kaliya's coils. This sight filled all the cowherd boys and cows with great fear. Seeing all this, the residents of Vrindavan, overwhelmed with anguish and confusion, fainted. There's a lot of fainting in this pastime. Now, he is going to, the verse and the commentary is going to go through different components of Vrindavan and how they regarded the scene of Krishna in the coils of the Kaliya serpent. Nanda and the older members, Gopas and Gopis, then comes Mother Jasoda. Seeing Krishna motionless in the coils of the serpent in the lake, they asked the boys, "Tell us what happened. Did Kaliya snatch Krishna from the bank and pull him into the water? Or did Krishna jump from the bank into the water? Was this his own idea or someone else's order?" Seeing that the boys wanted to answer but were not able to, because their minds had stopped functioning, Nanda and the older cowherd men and women became even more stunned than the boys. Rasa. Very clever. So there's a nice painting, there's the elders, and there's Krishna in the coils of the Kaliya serpent. And they're stunned and speechless. Then Krishna and his gopis, the younger girls. When the younger gopis, whose minds were constantly attached to Krishna, saw him in that condition, they remembered his loving friendship, his smiling glances, and his talks with them. That's all they need, is a good excuse to remember all those things. Burning with great sorrow, they saw the entire universe as void. Commentary by Jiva Goswami. Krishna was full of all powers, Bhagavate, and without destruction. His powers are without destruction, permanent. He was inseparable from the devotees. Thus it was impossible that he could be held by the snake. But by his will, he was trapped in the snake's coils. The gopis were extremely afflicted with grief at this because by their nature they were constantly filled with prema for him. He alone was most dear by his nature. So by words, a picture is being painted, or by sound, emotions are being churned. As to the degree that one has some affinity for Vrindavan and the residents of Vrindavan, the whole of, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's described right in Chaitanya Charitamrita that he appeared in this world not only to teach Krishna Prema or give Krishna Prema, Mo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, but specifically he says, like Krishnadas Kaviraj writes, he came to teach this way of spontaneous devotion, because that's available in Vrindavan. And that all these pastimes in Vrindavan are towards that end. So towards that end means if one becomes attached to the residents of Vrindavan and becomes a follower of the Ragatmika devotee, eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan, that's the doorway to this raga marg, or spontaneous devotion. So all of these descriptions of the eternal associates and how they respond to Krishna being in difficulty. Jiva Goswami goes on, one's self is dear, the super soul is more dear, and Krishna is especially most dear. The idea is that they were failing to recognize the scientific facts about Krishna due to their overwhelming burden of love. This is the young gopis. They didn't factor in he's the supreme and what's going on because he can get out of the coils of the Kaliya serpent, no problem. They didn't think like that. The Aishvarya feature was farthest from their mind because of the intensity of the Madhurya feature. And that's part of their exaltedness. Or as part of the mood of Braja. Although Krishna may be exhibiting or may withdraw the exhibition of his Aishvarya, the residents of Vrindavan don't see it. Why don't they see it? Because they're so intimately, deeply absorbed in the sweetness of him and their loving relationship with him, and that's all they can see. As the saying goes, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I'm looking at our three young boys in the front. Have you heard that phrase before? Yeah? Beauty. So there's two ways of thinking what that means. One, if I'm seeing something beautiful, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And then the flip side is, I see something as beautiful because of the beauty of my seeing. Someone else may, just like driving over here, and coming back last night, just sharing, the sky in Florida looks different. It's really amazing. I was for a week in Michigan. It was warmer in Michigan than in Florida. I'll say it again. 3 degrees warmer, but during the daytime. But the sky, different sky, different. I mean, it's the same sky, but it's a different sky. And so, what do I know about skies? But, it definitely appears different. So, to be able to behold beauty, it has something to do with the eye of the person. Like, the Padma Lochana. You know the meaning? Padma Lochana, lotus-eyed. Padma, lotus. Lochana, eyes. So, Prabhupada tells the story, someone may have, their parents may have a child that's blind, and they call him Padma Lochana. So it's not that his eyes are particularly Padma-like, just that's the love of the parents, and therefore Padma Lochana. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Because the residents of Vrindavan have such intense love for Krishna, they see what they see, they feel what they feel, they experience what they experience. They're beyond material. And one becomes appreciative and attached to and a lover of the residents of Vrindavan. That's the path of Ragamarg. So hearing again and again and again, like this is a very special pastime because we're getting this whole panorama of the residents of Vrindavan and their love for Krishna. Sridhar Swami comments, deprived of their dearmost Krishna, they saw the three worlds empty. Yudaya, Nimeshena, Chakshusha, Pravasayatam. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had that same mood. Not seeing Krishna, that the whole world becomes vacant. The world's not vacant, but the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Although the elder gopis were feeling just as much distress as Krishna's mother, they had to forcibly hold her back. So this is now Mother Yashoda. Now what's she feeling? She's going to go into that lake and rescue Krishna. That's her son. And she doesn't see others. She doesn't see, he's all powerful, he'll take care of it. Standing like corpses. This is the verse by Shukadev. Standing like corpses. Standing like corpses. What corpses stand? They don't. Standing like corpses, with their eyes fixed upon his face, these gopis each took turns recounting the pastimes of the darling of Vraja. Hint, this is the position of those eternal associates of Krishna. They see distress, but what do they take shelter of? They take shelter of remembrance of in relation to Krishna. We will enter the huge lake of the king, the snake king, with Yashoda. It's not proper for us to return to Braja. What is the day without the sun? The night without the moon? And what is the cow without the bull? And what is Vraja without Krishna? Without Krishna, our return to Gokula would be incomplete. Jiva Goswami goes on, where Krishna, with the complexion of a blue lotus, is absent, it is like a forest having a lake without water. Oh, Yashoda, not seeing Krishna, who has lotus eyes, how could the wretched people continue living in the village? This is the elder gopis, and they're like Mother Yashoda, they're immersed, but they have a special regard for Mother Yashoda. So while their minds are going to Krishna and thoughts of Krishna and their loving exchanges with him, they have some special affinity for Mother Yashoda. This is part of their nature. Since the unlimited treasures of our minds have been captured by his sweet speech, without Bodhiside Krishna, we will not go to Nanda Gokul. We're not going back without him. Oh, cowherd women, look at his smiling face when he looks at us, even though he is held in the coils of the king of snakes. He's enlivening us with his glance, even he's in great difficulty. Just see. Just see. So they forcibly restrained Yashoda. Seeing Yashoda try to jump into the river, the elder gopis took her by the arms as she was still fairly conscious and washed her face covered with sweat and tears. In loud voices, they began to recite stories about the dear boy, Vrajapriya, in order to revive her. Pretty patient sitting through all that. So Krishna's, the residents of Vrindavan, the elders, have a special affection for Krishna, and they have special affection for Nanda and Yashoda, naturally so.
Hare Krishna. Any thoughts or comments from devotees? Yes, Sharvari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very beautiful. What I like is Vrindavana is the place of spontaneous devotion. And actually, by these pastimes, Krishna is churning the hearts of not only the Vrindavan Vashis, but churning our hearts as well.
Oh, very
Thank you,
nice.
Prabhu.
Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
So
Ashok.
yeah, here Maharaj nicely explained the love of the Vrajavasis. So how they feel empty without the Krishna, even though they might know that he is supreme person, but still they are feeling like he's a dearest boy. So without him, they're nothing. So Prabhu, like here I have question something. Sometimes even gopis also feel that he is a supreme, or Yashoda. Generally, we heard that Yashoda got the chance to see all these uh, potencies. But where gopis also knows, or because of Krishna's love and something, they feel he's yeah, more lovable or something. How can we understand this, Prabhu?
If you read the prayers, if the Gopi Geet, which is sung in the temple
Uh,
every day, you will note that they know Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but they do care a damn for his supreme nature. They care more for his loving nature than anything else. That's it's not appealing to them that he's the Supreme Lord, but it's appealing to them that he is a lovable person for them. That's the way it is.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Would anybody else like to add?
Hare Krishna ji, Dandrat Pranam.
Yes, Vivek.
Yes, bro. So, like this rasa aspect, so we see that although the Madhurya and Vatsalya and Madhurya rasa are amplified, you can see some gradations. For example, Maharaj mentioned in the lecture that the distress of Nanda Maharaj and other gopis, that was one aspect. That was one aspect wherein they asked what's happening, how did this happen, did he jump or did Kaliar grab him? That's one. Whereas on the other hand, the rasa aspect of Yashoda, Mother Yashoda was slightly different. She wanted to jump herself and save Krishna, and the other gopis had to check. That is one. And coming to the rasa aspect of the gopis themselves, so they remembered his loving friendship, his smiling glances, his talks. And why? Because they're constantly filled with prema. So this aspect I like, Prabhu. And the way Maharaj explained that the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So that aspect also I liked. And just one thing which you also mentioned before, that during times of distress, we need to remember Krishna. Think about his pastimes, take more shelter of him. So how they seem to be doing it naturally. Obviously, they are the topmost devotees. How do we, as practicing sadhakas, slowly get to that point, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Oh, nice question. Thank you for expressing the other points too. Anybody would like to answer Vivek Prabhu's question of how we can be absorbed in Krishna in, at all times, at times of distress and at all times?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Uh, I was actually not answering the Prabhu's question, but I was just thinking that this entire sequence is, I mean, it is it the preparation of but anyway they had many other pastimes also where they saw the power of Krishna, but I was just thinking whether it was to intensify their trust and belief more, that if whatever happens, anything happens, just think of Krishna and it will be taken care. It is uh, it is somewhat like Vivek Prabhu asked, how to enhance our belief. And I was thinking on those lines only, that slowly and slowly Krishna is giving them, or increasing their trust, increasing their belief in the Krishna, that anything happens, just think of him, just believe in him, and it will be all right. Like with this small incidents of Putna, and where we didn't see anything, they just saw the result, they didn't see anything happening, but now they are seeing something happening. It is something which they can see, and then they can see the result. So it may be that Krishna is just telling us to go through the pastimes, and it will for the great souls, not like me, for the great souls, if they go with the pastimes, slowly they can feel the intensified devotion in the Krishna and increased devotion of Krishna. So all my vague thoughts are there, Prabhu. But yes, if there is some time, please think of the answer of my question of yesterday. So if mind is present as a Kaliya Nag in us, is there within us to save us also, like Naga vibes?
Yes, thank you. So we have two questions. One from yesterday, from what Shweta Mataji said, which she reiterated now, and Vivek Prabhu's question. Anybody would like to answer further on this? Priyadarshan Prabhu, would you like to say something on this?
No, Prabhuji, thanks. Sorry.
Sharmari Mataji, would you have any answer for this? What the two questions?
I mean, I more think that rather than thinking what we should do and things like that, it is more a natural process. Like what is happening to all the Vrajavasis is quite natural. The gopis, they are thinking of all the pastimes they had with. Similarly, Ma Yashoda is thinking of just. I mean, I think it's more a natural. I do not know whether what I'm saying is making sense. But to me, is that we cannot actually put our mind towards what we should do, what we should do. It should be more, we should be more into the devotion, and it should come more naturally to us. That's what I feel.
So the point which Vivek Prabhu was saying is, how do you make it natural? Given that for most people it is not natural now.
Then the devotion will have to, I mean, we have to increase the devotion part then. That
Okay.
probably would help.
Okay. Okay. Subhudirai Prabhu, thank you for raising your hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Regarding Vivek Prabhu's question, I have a comment if it doesn't fit like an answer. What I heard from Prabhupada's disciples who have been practicing for so long, they say that we don't know anything about Krishna, we just know Prabhupada. So, connection to God, Krishna can be made by making a strong connection or having that what do you, how do you put having that appreciation for one's guru, because as soon as they think of Prabhupada they are automatically thinking of Krishna. So maybe we have to start developing connection with immediate mentor or our one's guru, because they are always in the service of Krishna. So by remembering them, we can remember about Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Very insightful, very penetrating observation. Thank you. It's the essence. What you said is the essence. Either Harisham Prabhu or Hemasundari Mataji, your reply to these questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, two things that I think for Vivek Prabhu's question is, one is having gratitude for what we have received so far. When we practice having gratitude, then even during distress, we will be able to thank Krishna for giving it so less. But we might deserve more, but he has given less. So that is one part. And the other thing, what I remember is from Nityanand Pran Prabhu's Ramayana lectures long back. He said that during the time of distress, we derive strength from what we have practiced before. So if this is somewhat in line with Sharbari Mataji's answer as well. So during the time when we have enough, when we don't have distress, when we are good, when we practice well, we can derive strength from what we have practiced. So that is the two-part answer for me.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
One way, at least what I have observed, is like the DT service actually gives us this bit more natural affection for the Lord. At least we can see in our temple, like for doing DT service, there's an element. Of course, there's a lot of submissiveness and there is awe and reverence, but it also requires some sort of vatsalya bhav to serve the deities. It is kind of a service where we think, okay, the Lord, we have to do everything for the Lord, right? Like from cooking boha to serving them, dressing them, putting them to bed, waking them up, all those things. So I feel like there is one service where there is naturally the component of affection to in that service. So and quite a number of people uh, connect with the Lord that way. And that is one service I feel, okay, there is a natural affection component as part of that service. That's the thing for Big Prabhu's question.
Thank you. So nice. Thank you. Kumarika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Actually, many of the devotees touched it. I heard from Guru Maharaj once that what comes out in times of stress is what we put inside when we are quite okay. That is the practice that we put in. So if there is, if you squeeze the orange, then you will get orange juice. If you squeeze the bitter lemon, you will get only bitter lemon juice. So he says that what are you putting inside now? Like they all said, that the sadhana that we are doing now, what is our shelter right now when we are not stressed? the same shelter we will go to. So when we are being stressed, we immediately think of our shelters. If our shelter is our bank balance, our educational intelligence, and this and that, then we will try to depend more on that. If our shelter is only Krishna, then we think of Krishna and call out to Krishna first. So what we make our daily practice, that is what is going to come out in times of stress also.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mataji. Rajeshwari Pran Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
After a long time, I sat and hear today's class. It's very nice from like after Damodar Leela pastime, we could see more closely. At least I heard more closely about Yashoda Maya's feelings and more inner feelings of Rajavasis in this pastime when Guru Maharaj is explaining. And one point stuck here was their Aishwarya feature is beyond the Madhurya feature. Like in general, in this material world, we say one should be intelligent or like, has to be like a prajna who can distinguish right from the wrong. But because of their intense love for Krishna, they are not seeing any scientific facts like, if we jump, what happens, whether we will be able to save or not, or whether we will be drowned. So those were not coming into the picture because this prajna is absent in this Vrajavasis, which is beyond our imagination, like conditioned soul to think how we can love Krishna beyond oneself. That's very nice. And for Vivek Prabhu's question, I think that Prabhu had given, I was just remembering one point where it says that Yad Bhagavat Mahatmyam Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhanam. Unless one hears or follows a person who is attached to Krishna, Bhakti Vardhanam, it will not, we will not be able to progress in our devotional life. So I just remember that one can be attached, one should be attached to a pure devotee of the Lord. Then naturally we will be able to take shelter, whether it is in distress or happiness. That's Prabhu also covered the same point. And for the second one, which Shweta Mataji was asked that question, like our mind is like a Kaliya, and do we have something in ourselves where we can protect ourselves? But I just remembered from Manasiksha, where the mind and senses like attackers come and trying to attack us, then one will call the help for the devotees. Here, how we see the Kaliya wives are coming, and because of Kaliya's wife's devotion, Kaliya got that remembrance and mercy from the Lord. We should remember, as we may be qualified because one is part and parcel of Krishna, but it is just because of other devotees and our attachment to other devotees will help us when we are in danger. That's it, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for telling. I just have, and yes, Priyadarshan Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, like how to remember Krishna all the time naturally means like what came to my mind was the environment that we live in, the association, and what Hemasudari Mataji said, like life full of gratitude, or like every time remembering that what we have received. Um, like those kind of conditions will help us to remember naturally. One thing I comes to mind is the varnashrama system. Like if we follow those currently, because of how the society is around, um, that that would help, I feel. So that's what I wanted to mention, Prabhu. That's
Can you just take a little bit, maybe just 1 minute more, to just elaborate how Varnashrama can help, or what aspect or what facet of Varnashrama can help? Prabhu? Just 1 minute more.
one thing, Prabhuji, I think immediately is like if you stay in a like a farming community or somewhere, like every aspect of our life there is like depending on Krishna. Like you, like if even if you want to do crops, like for example to grow something, like you can do only something from your end, but like it all, like it comes to you that you need to depend on Krishna so that the crop comes properly. Or like you do, you keep on doing service rather than like anything for your sense gratification. I think like you will be keeping your needs to minimal. uh, like instead of wants, you will be only focusing on the needs. So those kind of dependencies on Krishna every moment of the life would help um, push us towards that being natural in remembering Krishna, Prabhu. That's my thought, Prabhu. That's
Thank you. It's a very profound thing. You said that there are conducive environment in the form of farm communities or simple lifestyle, where instead of struggling with the mind, we naturally come to the stage where we focus just on the needs and not on the wants. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of the devotees spoke a lot for Vivek Prabhu's question. I'll just add something for Shweta Mataji's question. Thanks, everybody. So for Shweta Mataji's question, help me understand it if I got it right. There is the nature of the serpent-like mind, in which the crooked movements of the serpent and the biting nature of the serpent, like that, our mind can also do something. But do we have a devotional aspect like the Nagapatnis within us? And is that correct, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, that our mind is actually trying to put us away from Krishna all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
It's trying to call the Krishna and
Yeah. Yeah.
throw it away.
So you're from
How?
Varanasi. Yeah, I got that. So you are from Varanasi,
Yes,
and
Prabhu.
Varanasi is, I mean, maybe not now. Now it's very different. But at some point in time, Varanasi was known as a traditional center for learning uh, the Upanishads and the Vedanta. Now it's become more for Buddhism and yoga. That's how Kali Yuga progresses. But everybody used to come to Varanasi to learn these subjects. In the Chandogya Upanishad, there's a very famous phrase which many of you may know, and you all would have understood something. And the phrase is Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. And every Acharya has given commentary on what this Tat Tvam Asi means. Tat, according, if you go to Sripada Shankaracharya, it says that Tat is that Brahman. He says all that exists in this world is only Brahman. And Tvam, you, that is all of us, the souls here, we are all that Tat, that Brahman. And when we come all the way I mean, Ramanujacharya has his commentary, Madhvacharya has his commentary, all of them. But when it comes to Jiva Goswami, he tells something very radically different. But makes very complete logical sense, and it preserves the fidelity of what is happening in that particular Chandogya Upanishad. He goes step by step and then finally says that what is it that everybody lives for? What is the most dearest thing for everybody? The most dearest thing for everybody to start with is actually their own self. And why is their own self what they like? They like their own self. Everybody wants self-preservation because they have an attachment to it. So what people actually go beyond for is that attachment, that preeti. And therefore, in the phrase tat tvam asi, what is important is that tat. It is with the word tat refers to that preeti or that affection or that bhakti. But affection to whom? It is finally saying that, Jiva Goswami says that affection to Krishna is what is the inherent nature within a jiva. You better come back to it. And it is only the mind that is not allowing it. In other words, the latent feature of the soul is to love Krishna. And therefore, like the Nagapatnis, it's not just about loving Krishna, it's also about being simple hearted to see how Krishna is orchestrating many things in our life, etc. Wanting to please rather than wanting to dominate, etc. All these are preserved, are in our eternal constitutional soul. It is just that it is covered. So we have it, Mataji, and our spiritual practices hopefully should only deepen our conviction to remain true to the spiritual core and act on that platform. First, for most of us, when we start it, we don't have the conviction that the spiritual core exists. We don't see the value in it because we see the world around that it behaves in a way that everybody seems to be very cunning, very selfish. And if I have to preserve myself, I have to also be cunning, I have to be selfish, etc. But over a period of time, we realize that it's okay to even let go of certain things. I don't need to be so cunning. What are you going to take from me? Just like Sanatan Goswami gave away his treasure. He had a Chintamani jewel. He said, you want Chintamani? Take it. What's the big deal? What am I going to do with it? And so the more we come to the stage of relishing, that step-by-step process, what the other devotees, which is connected to Vivek Prabhu's question. When we start with relishing something with the devotees around us first, then with what scripture is giving, number two. Number three, then we have even more elevated devotees, some maybe one person of whom may become our spiritual master. Like that, when we start slowly going through that phase, that preeti comes, the preeti aspect dominates further. I live to give preeti, and if I get any preeti in return, that's a bonus. But I'm here to give. And it is this nature of giving which, when hidden, transforms into the receiving. And that is when all this crooked motion, like the snake, of all these crooked thoughts and the biting nature, preserving ourselves for against the onslaught of others. A snake bites somebody because it believes it is under threat. For nothing, it believes it is under threat. And that's the kind of a thing that we have. We just believe that everybody is here to do something for me. And so it is there. We have to tap it. And this katha is all that we are hearing, the Kaliya Leela Katha, etc., is to give us that courage. You can let go of your fears, and yet nothing is going to happen. And part of it is the eternality of the soul. What is the maximum thing that may happen? I may lose some money, I may lose my body, I may lose this life, but going from one life to another life, my consciousness of wanting to please God remains. And that's how great spiritualists believe that I have lived my entire life wanting to please God. What will happen, Max? This body is going to be removed. As a dress, I remove it. I'll possibly be born in another body. But I'm so firmly fixed that very soon I will get that same inclination. It's maybe a matter of 10, 20 years as a child or something. I'll get that same inclination to serve. And because I have served my Guru here, he will come again in some form or the other. And again, he's going to come and give me some service. So with that mood, the preeti to the devotees, the preeti to the Guru finally leads to the preeti to Krishna. Saying it'll happen at some point in time. So it's there, Mataji. That's the answer to your question. It is there in us. It's just that we have to live by it. That's it. We are leading a hypocritical life. We know the theory, but we don't have the courage to live it in practice. And we need to learn, just like a child. When a child learns to walk, at some point in time, it doesn't say, I'm afraid of falling down. It just looks at the love with which the mother or the father extends the hand and says, come. And the child is driven by the hand, the smile, the eager eyes of the parent, and says, it's okay, I will fall, but I'll wake up again. I'll get up once more and I'll come. And that makes the child get the muscle to walk, relearn what it means to walk. And that's the same case for us. Was this satisfying for you, or did I miss the
Yes,
key point?
yes, Prabhu. Yes, it was really very good. It was like getting some nectar, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all. We'll end here. We went for a long time. I didn't notice the time. I'm sorry. We'll continue again on Monday with this lecture, and then we'll go to part 3 and maybe part 4 also. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj ki